5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, smooth.
As DJ said a year ago from today, and we're live and heard the
we should have actually looked up what our first words were, like what our first actual words.
I think it was like a slurp sound and said, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It was super cringy.
Here, let's do it again.
Dude.
Good, right?
Dude,
I think that's what I said.
Exactly what it was.
And it's a German beer. That's what we had the first time too, right?
Oh shoot, we were currently rocking some Radlers today. 2 Pitchers Brewing. Back then we had what did we have?
I don't even know. It was the white drink, the white beer.
Burger.
You're thinking of Burger Bait, dude. Get that out of your head.
I know, right?
We've moved on from that.
We've done enough plugging of Chris's content. Well, anyways, this is the 25th episode. We are a quarter of a century, I guess a quarter of 100 episodes in, but today, more importantly, is the 1-year anniversary of CD Logic Podcast.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
When we hit 100 episodes, first off, that would be a lot of episodes. But
yes.
if when we hit 100, right, at our current rate, will be 4 years, aka like a college career.
That is true.
Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty crazy. So that would be what, 2023? 2023.
Yeah.
Yes, math is hard. 2023 September. Wow. And we will be 27 years old. I'll be 27 years old.
We don't need to talk about that.
No, we don't, because that's old and scary. But wow, a whole year's going by. I know we've been talking about this a lot. I've been anticipating this episode.
1 year anniversary of CD Logic.
Yes, the 1 year anniversary. Because don't get confused. September 17th. Not September 14th. September 14th this year is the 1 year anniversary. September 17th, in a couple days from now, is the 5-year anniversary of Traveling Techers. But the first year or two was actually called the Techer Twins because we were dweeby and only made cringy soccer videos. But hey, you gotta start somewhere.
The Techer Twins of E&H.
Yep.
Specifically.
We specifically E&H because we were in Henry.
Do you remember how it got started?
So that started by, we went to the field, what was it, with Sharky, and we recorded some videos, but it got really cold and dark fast.
But
like, let's come back another day.
Why did we even want to record ourselves at all?
Well, I know I watched the F2 Freestylers a lot,
Uh-huh.
but then someone like hit like a banger of a shot, and they were like, hey, we should record that. So sure enough, we just started recording it, and we were so bad because it was always in angles. The phone would fall down. We would forget to hit record.
we would prop up the phone with our with our shoes.
Well, yeah, because we would wear the cleats. Yeah, and once we change, we use our shoes or our bag, and that's why it wasn't reliable because someone could pick up the bag or hey, dude, I'm gonna move your shoes, and next thing the phone falls. But I think what actually started the channel, and really thought of us doing something like that was not only just shooting around the ball and had Sharky and Randall, I think, in the first episode, maybe the second, but was the scene where I shank one of your balls, and I hit the train on the back.
Almost at the train.
Almost at the train.
It was like inches away.
Yes, like it somehow just sails perfectly. Shameless plug to our first video. Please don't go back and watch it.
No, that wasn't in our first video though, was it?
Yeah, that was the very
train was the first. I thought the train was the third one, not like the first one.
Train was the first video. The very last clip. Trust me.
Randy was definitely in that one. Then,
yeah.
Randy went out to that field with us.
Randy was technically standing in goal, I'm not mistaken.
I was.
That's right.
I was
you were in
goal.
Randall's behind the fence already.
Was he?
He was fetching another ball, and sure enough, the ball nicks the top of the fence, bounces off, and like rolls up to the track as the train's going by. DJ falls to the ground. I'm holding my face and turn around, and boom, the camera ends, and that's the first episode.
But what were we thinking though?
I don't think we were.
Like, were we thinking that we were going to try to be the F2 Freestylers?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We were, sophomores in college? Yeah, that was...
sophomores in college?
That was a month into sophomore year. We were 19 years old.
How close were we at the time?
I think we were already, best buds. We became really close at the end of freshman year. You, me, Randall, and Dallas. Remember, because, we did the studies, and we all got our haircuts at the same time, and did knucklehead stuff like that. But each year we got crazier, and then we just started filming stuff.
Remember this?
I do remember that. There's trippy...
I'm showing Cody. I'm looking at the first video just to verify stuff since we don't have a tech guy. And, we took a slow motion video with a camera, like an iPhone camera.
Yeah.
But the what is it? What's the lighting called?
Fluorescent?
Yeah, fluorescent lighting like flickers, so it gives you like a seizure effect.
Yeah. Effect actually gives me a seizure.
No,
Look at that.
yep, dude, your memory ceases to amaze me.
Well, I edited those videos.
First video, I'm in goal. Cody, it's a horrible shot. Ball rolls right up to the train, and rolls back down.
I think if we ever do like a 10-year recap of the channel, so wow, that's gonna be another 5 years. But a 10-year recap, that should be the end of that 10-year recap video, because that's what started it all.
I agree.
Because I think that was our first like comical moment. I would argue.
Yeah,
we had some heck of bangers in that video, some awesome shots, but more importantly, that video started where we are today. And I mean, even still, like yeah, we've been more serious, especially the last year with CD Logic, Europe videos. I mean, we've done all sorts of stuff, more vlogs, more travel. We got drones. I mean, the channel 5 years ago, I guarantee you, we never thought we would ever get here this fast. I mean,
that's why I was asking those questions, was because like my memory sucks, so like I can't remember anything. But I'm trying to think back on like what were we thinking could come of making a soccer video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like surely there was never thought of like a podcast or anything like that then.
No, I mean I know I hated podcasts. I used to talk trash about them at the time.
Really?
I mean, in fairness, I never really knew much of like the Joe Rogans, and most of the stuff I thought of was all NPR-ish. I cannot stand NPR because even when someone has emotion or a laugh, it is so fake sounding that I'm like, please never do that again with your mouth ever. So that I had I guess that locked in my head, and then so yeah, definitely wasn't podcasts we were ever thinking about. I mean, maybe we did think we could be FT Freestyles. I mean, we always like had a comical group, and we knew we had the potential, but I think it was we never had someone that wanted to take that drive in front of a camera. And then from that point on, we just slowly got better and better. I plateaued with my editing for a while there until I was like, let me not.
You went as far as an iPhone could go.
Yeah, that is also a fun fact. A lot of people don't know that I used to edit all these videos on iMovie on my iPhone. People ask, "Oh,
Up until relatively recently."
Probably a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, our last video that was edited on an iPhone was the. Wow. Well, no, yeah. So I did the podcast. Episode 1 of the podcast was on the Windows Maker, Movie Maker, whatever it's called, on my old laptop. It was like from 2014 laptop, super buggy. It took like 3 hours to like load up. I swear it did. And essentially, I think it was until it was what episode was the last one I switched over? I think it was right after David Hall. So episode like 8 or 9, around that realm. Yeah, so like just like past Christmas. Because not too far after that, beginning of this year, I got my new HP Envy. And I mean, it's no Mac or anything, but it is very fast. It has a crazy editing RAM, and that's when I started using Shotcut, which is another free. I don't have any sort of.
My shock in all
Premiere
this
Pro.
shows how much effort I put into editing.
AK zero. DJ has edited 0 videos in the last 5 years, but that is okay. I would say that's.
I've been along for the ride.
Yes, he's been the quick wit for a while, and I've always been, I guess, the technological brains. But in fairness, I love to edit, as a lot of you guys know. I love to vlog. I have a very cinematic and creative mind, as is DJ, and I can't never take any of that creativity because there's definitely days where I'm just not in it. Or I could even say like Europe, like we were tired, but every day someone was bouncing off one or the other, whether it's a joke or like, hey, let's do this or let's film this, and that's slowly gotten better and better and better, especially with our cameras, adding the arsenal. I mean, shoot, dude, we went from shooting on very old GoPros to iPhone 6s.
Or not Spotify. What am I doing? Snapchat.
Yes.
Recording
DJ
on Snapchat.
Throwback to the 2017
You know what's funny?
road trip.
I feel like we might have talked about this on our first podcast.
I think we did actually. I've
This is just revamping the first one.
It is, except the computer won't die, and we won't spill drinks and use a flimsy board as a table. That was hilarious.
Awesome.
That was a crazy day.
Okay. I mean, we were gonna mention it earlier, but so at the end of this podcast, because this is kind of like a 1 year celebration of our podcast. That's why it's just me and Cody right now. We're doing Late Night Chatter 3, which you already know since you can see the title. But we're gonna put at the end of this like a little short, like what would you call?
More or less like a little compilation celebration video, maybe like a minute or two, throwing back to all the episodes that we've done thus far.
Including, I want this because we didn't talk about this. Including, I'll finally send you the footage from like us setting up the first one.
And it's super cringy but hilarious.
We end with that. So like you do like a compilation like in order of everyone's podcast. It ends with like a 30-second like just run out video of us setting it up.
I'm down.
That's funny.
I'm down. Which started in like one of my childhood bedrooms, which is crazy. And I would say just from that, it almost kind of like really tugs at me a little bit because like when you think about it, how far we've come. Not in the actual my childhood bedroom, but just like how far we've come just from the podcast level on the channel.
We have mics. Well, we started with mics.
Started with mics, but I got a new computer. We have this table.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we have this couch. We have the den here. We have multiple new cameras. I mean, I've got the Sony over there. You've got this nice Canon. I mean, you've got your GoPro we've used at times, which shoots 4K. I'm trying to get another one now, so we have more angles finally. We just never can get battery charged at the same time, but one of these days we'll figure it out. But just it's hard. I mean, now we have a drone. Like the channel has a drone, and the thing is that we haven't thrown the drone up and tested to its full potential for like a crazy video. I mean, we've done.
You had it on your road trips and stuff like that.
I did, which will come out after this. So for those of you drone frenzies and drone junkies, definitely be on the lookout for some more drone content coming soon with out northwest in Washington State. I'm gonna do a drone specific 4K video.
Like it's only drone footage?
Yes.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm definitely.
How much did you fly your drone out there?
So I threw my drone up probably, I would say 6 or 7 batteries worth, which is probably like 3.5 hours for the fly time.
Wow.
I maybe didn't use them full in batteries, but I did fly near national parks or the national park and like on the beach and stuff. So within regulation, of course, wink. And with that being said, I mean, the views were insane. Pacific Northwest. I mean, we actually haven't really been able to sit down and look at pictures yet.
No.
Now we've been meaning to do that too, so maybe we can do it after.
We need to make that its own podcast.
We do. We definitely do. Washington was unreal, as a lot of y'all know, and we talk about so much already. Me and DJ have gone everywhere together, but this was like the first big trip that it was just me. I mean, I went with, shout out, Lockneat family, Michael, I mean, my lifetime, like, second family, let alone best friends, and awesome time, but no DJ. Like, it was super weird. No other person that I've been on any of my big trips. So super weird, but it was good to definitely reach out and change up the style of travel because it was more laid back because we went with his parents, and obviously we're not running up mountains and doing crazy stuff like we normally do, but it was still a lot of fun. But back to the drone footage, I mean, unreal. At one point in time where I threw the drone up, I was already definitely at least 5,500 feet above sea level.
Oh my god.
So I threw the drone up an extra like 1,000 feet.
When you broke that drone out, like we've talked about this, but when you first showed me the drone above like a soccer field, like I was having anxiety attacks.
DJ was.
It's so stressful watching you fly.
It's not as stressful flying anymore, but I'm not gonna lie to you, that was the most stressed I've ever been because of how high it was. Now, what's crazy and how smart these drones are and the technology, and I guess it's worth the price I paid for sure. But I mean, they're so smart. The way they maneuver, they adjust to the wind. Like, I don't have to like sit there and control the joysticks for everlasting second and think it's gonna crash. I mean, they're insane. So when I was above the mountain
really
there,
it's really windy up there.
it is. It's called Hurricane Ridge for a reason because it has like hurricane-like winds. I mean, so that was something I was a little nervous about. But with that being said, we also threw it up over the beach or two, over the river. So, and you're already over seafoot level, whatever, and most of that area around there, because it's just unimaginable type area. We're gonna go back out, whether it's a one-day couple trip that's if I ever
or when you move
mate.
out there.
Wait, what?
Or when you move out there.
True. True. Definitely thinking about it. Maybe not Washington State specifically, but out west, it's definitely something that is becoming bigger into not the want to, but need to. Maybe just start a new chapter, but that's for another episode or another time. But I'm super excited for everyone to see this drone footage and what it can actually be done.
I'm excited. I haven't seen any of it either.
No, you haven't. Maybe I'll show you a little sneak peek after this.
Drone footage is so cool.
It is, and that's one of the reasons why I think I love it. It's, some people I guarantee are out there that watch your channel or at least seen it or heard about it, and they're like, oh, they're just trying to flex. Like, actually, no, dude. That's something I've always wanted to do is fly a drone. Because I've had so many people
You've wanted
that
a
had
drone
it,
ever since I had a drone, man.
That's true, which was definitely at least 3 years ago. 2017.
It was senior year.
Yeah, so 2017, 2018, so at least 2 or 3 years. That is very true. That is very true. I mean, not only are they so fun to fly, but the thing that I tell everyone is the drone gives a view of a variety of things that you'll never ever get any other way, unless you pay like hundreds of dollars and go into a helicopter ride. I mean, unless you're on a hike or something and you're trying to get like some cinematic view maybe behind you. Yeah, you're a little higher.
But even a helicopter, like a helicopter has its own limitations as well.
That's true. You're usually dealing with the sound and the wind and oxygen and let alone the price tag to go up.
Where you can fly. Like when we were when we were at the soccer field, like a helicopter's not going to fly above the soccer field.
No.
Even if you had your own private one, like you wouldn't do that.
That is very true.
So it gives you super unique views of places that you would never see before.
It does, especially with this drone. Like, it has the lock-on feature system, the active track as they call it, to where like we were messing around the soccer field that day. You were running around jurgling and it kept up with you and it was super smooth on its gimbal system. So I mean, we're
Are you making up these words?
No, gimbal, a gimbal, Gimbal. People can look it up right now. Look it up, fact checker. So now the gimbal system, it stabilizes the camera so that way it's super smooth and cinematic. Trust me, it's on there. Okay. So with that being said, I keep saying that the drone has not been put to its full potential. And I mean, yeah, I sit here and wish and think we had it on Europe last year and maybe the first couple times or Canada, but all in all, it's all been great thus far, and it's only going to get better. And I cannot wait to see what we have in store. I know technically this year, if it wasn't for COVID, we were going to go to Japan. So honestly, I'm kind of glad because I might not have the drone for then. And I can't imagine the views over there, whether we're, outside Tokyo or, Nagasaki or whatever city that we go to. It's probably unreal. So
For sure.
I'm super excited about when we ever get to do that, whether it's, next year, fingers crossed, prayers up. Maybe we might change up and do Australia, somewhere that, we can travel to. So definitely know we want to do something. Maybe we can go to Tulum, Mexico, go to the jungle gym. I know someone that just went there, super cheap flights. Yeah, so that's actually somewhere we can go now because Mexico.
Do you know how much it costs?
I just looked up the other day. It's like $300 round trip.
No.
Dead serious.
So like flight down there?
Dead serious.
How much do you think it costs to stay there?
I'll have to ask him. It can't be that expensive because I know he's real big on saving money.
It's pretty nice though.
It is. I would argue that for like a 5-day trip, I guarantee between flights and that we wouldn't pay more than lodging and flights. I guarantee you.
$1,500 maybe.
Less. I'm willing to bet, especially if we split it, or like I get it, another one of the buds or someone to come down and like go to the little jungle gym. I don't know. We should look it up because I know we've been talking about it for a while since Callan Von Moger went.
Yeah, the place looks sick.
So, but anyways, drone footage, great. Looking forward to it. TD Logic, it's been awesome. I don't know how long we're into this, but I don't really care.
I don't care.
So, all in all, is for those of you that did watch or have seen any part of the first episode, we had no video. So, not only do we have video, but we have a 4K camera.
We have videos of now. It might cut out at any moment.
Yes.
We're still figuring stuff out a year in, but
yes, we are, because I know like this battery lasts roughly 30 minutes. So, if we might go over 30, maybe not. But something
we got a new logo.
Yes, since we started, we have a new logo, way better logo. Shout out to our good pal Randy from Emory. She is a super talented creative designer. She does all sorts of great photography work. I saw she just posted some amazing astronomical looking photographs, like Milky Way stuff. I think she was in Texas, Oklahoma.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to share the post. It was insane. I just was blown away. I think she should maybe sell those photos, make some money off them. They were that good. But shout out to her. She designed her logo as well. DJ's wearing the shirt now. I know you guys have seen all over our personal and our own Instagram. It's actually our bio picture. So it's gonna get creative here soon. We're not gonna give away our secrets just yet, but we've got some ideas. So enough, I guess, with the floating around. DJ, I remember the day and the area I was on my route home. The day I called you about giving me the idea of starting C Logic podcast. It was like on a Friday after work. I think we were even hanging out that weekend. And obviously, we didn't do a podcast that weekend. I think it was going to be like a movie workout, soccer weekend like we love to do. But looking back at it, when I asked you to the point of now, just what goes through your mind?
Well, I know I love the idea, as I usually do. I love the idea, but I believe I remember myself being like skeptical of like if we could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it's really simple, like anybody can do it, and most people do a podcast. You know, but like it's really not hard to do. You can do it on your phone if you wanted to, and like with so much of the stuff that we do, the thing that really pulled me towards wanting to do a podcast is that, again, like it doesn't matter if this gets seen by 100 people, whatever, right? I think we were talking about this the other day. Like my favorite part of podcasting is that it's just an excuse for us to sit down and talk, like, you know, uninterrupted for however long we're doing it, you know? And that's like a very rare thing that you don't get very often, you know, especially when you're talking to complete strangers.
That's very true.
Like almost everybody that we've had on the podcast has been almost a complete stranger to me. They've all been, you know, your buddies and all that kind of stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
Like when we did our podcast with David Hall, you know what I mean? Like this is a guy that we've never met before.
I had brief interaction for like 5 minutes.
And he
before.
came here and sat down before COVID, and we just talked to him for however long. He was over here for like 5 hours, I think. 4 hours.
It definitely felt like, because we had a podcast and then a review. Yeah.
But like we just talked to him, and like it's an excuse that you don't usually get just to talk to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like there's a lot of personal, not gratification, but like personal happiness that comes out of podcasting, aside from the YouTube, whatever aspect of it. You know?
Yeah.
And like, that's my favorite part of like all of our videos. You know, like us traveling to Europe, we wouldn't have the same motivation to do that if we weren't recording it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we had never started recording anything and all that kind of stuff, I don't think we would have traveled as much as we have.
I think that's very true. And kind of bouncing off that, I've actually been asked before a time or two, I don't really remember by who, but there's definitely been a lot of people that have asked me, like, why do we video? Kind of like you said, like, would we even travel if we did video? And in that realm of things, I mean, that is a very good point, like you just asked. I don't know, maybe not.
But I don't think that's a negative, because like, it's the same thing with podcasting, right? Is how often would we sit down without your phone, without the TV, without video games? How often would we sit down and just talk for an hour, right? Mm-hmm. Let alone with a complete stranger, right? Just because we're doing it, just because we're recording, doesn't make that any less special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when we travel to Europe and we record it, that's not making it any less special. Or even if that is the sole reason why we're there, right?
Yeah.
Like the sole reason that we're talking right now is because of the podcast. But that doesn't detract from the conversation that we're having.
Yep. I think for me is, and maybe this is just me and trying to justify that the video is still as good in its own special way, but I mean, as one that edits all the videos we mentioned before, I often even compare like the Europe videos and always said how they're much better than the road trip 2017, which they are. And then, but now I even say that the Europe videos are like toilet, as Richardson would say, compared to like our most recent travel videos or our Myrtle Beach video. But I mean, usually, yeah, that's because you upgrade in equipment and technology. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just me being silly. Exactly.
It's a natural progression.
Exactly. But in the end of the day, is something that I often forget is, I mean, people don't go to the Traveling Techers YouTube and think that we're Mr. Beast, or think that we're David Dobrik, or think you're your everyday verified, professional YouTuber. I would
venture to say that 99.9% of people who come to our channel either know us directly or have been told to check it out by someone who knows us directly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So with that being said, it's sometimes I forget that, and I think it's just because I'm a perfectionist and really OCD with a lot of things, especially my editing. And I like to learn from my role models in the YouTube realm. I mean, I talk about it all the time: Bradley Martin, Max Shooting, the Stradman, Shawley Cooker, and I mean, it's something I take to heart. Personally.
If any of you guys want to be on a podcast, let us know.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? But, yeah, so I lost my train of thought there for a second. But in the end of the day, it's always going to be absolute amazing memories, and it's going to be something that I cannot wait to share with my own kids. Now, you could say that's cheesy or like, oh, well, why you put it on YouTube? Why can't you just, show it to them, on your own computer? Well, that's just beside the point.
Okay.
It's like it's a hobby.
My argument to that is how many pictures do I have on my freaking phone that I never go back and look at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I get a new phone, how many of those pictures I know they go to the cloud and all that kind of stuff, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I have so many videos. It's almost like it is a one of those disposable cameras. You know what I mean? Like, you just take the pictures and you throw it away. You never actually go back and look at them.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what it would be like if we recorded everything but didn't upload it somewhere.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it's not only, like I said, a hobby for me to edit. It's fun for us to do because we watch some on YouTube. We take inspiration. We want to be like those guys we look up to. But in the day, it's something that we can just share with others. And whether it's friends, family, we've met so many new people. Like, I would argue the Villa brothers. I mean, we're really close with those guys, especially like myself. I live with them all the time. And, before then, DJ didn't even know them. Then we had them on for a podcast. They've been in multiple videos. They were supposed to go the Arnold with us, hopefully next year, if not sometime before. But, I mean...
Whatever happened with the Hyperfest?
That got canned, so next year. But, yeah, so, I mean, through YouTube alone, I mean, I would say I have connections with people that I never thought I really would, just because they are big fans of YouTube and they like to watch. It's like, oh, wow, you have that too? I'll check it out. I mean, I know some may or may not expect us to be more professional, and some just don't care. They just like, hey, I know a guy that's on YouTube, and that's cool to them. So I think that's, at the end of the day, something that's an honor for me. And I'm not trying to sound like cliche or cheesy, but it is true. Like, when someone genuinely looks forward to seeing our videos.
You don't need to try to sound cliche or cheesy.
I know I am.
It just happens,
I am Cody Cliche Caruth, I guess. So
you don't need to try. It's adorable.
No, but no, it definitely means a lot when someone looks forward to our content. Whether it's a vlog, a travel video, a drone video, a podcast, like, it's super cool to me. When I have coworkers or a buddy at the gym that says like, hey man, it's Wednesday, a new video today or no video this week. I'm like, oh, I mean, and normally I have to like, be like, oh no, it's coming or whatever. But like, I have to actually sit there and think, wow, they are looking forward to our content. I mean, I know I tell DJ all the time, maybe he doesn't believe me, maybe he does, but it's definitely something really cool. I mean, definitely just also kind of going back on the statistical standpoint, and Chris Foster, shout out bud. You're always like, dude, why do you care about the views and the numbers and stuff? But that's just kind of who you are. But when I was talking with you, with Corbin, some others, is like, it just kind of helps you justify that you're being rewarded in some sort of way for the hard work you put in, or at least the editing or whatever the case may be. It's good to see you're getting it's some sort of statistical feedback.
See, that makes sense, because like, I'm more so with Chris, where like I don't really care that much about the views and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like with what you just said makes a lot of sense, because like, I'm not the one who's sitting down and spending hours editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I come in and I sit down and we do a podcast, or we go to Europe or whatever, right? And I have an amazing time. I make memories or whatever, and then obviously we talk. This is very simplified. But then I wake up the next day and there's a video of it, right?
Yeah.
So why would I care if anybody else is watching it? Because I'm watching myself. Like,
yeah.
I'm watching our own memories, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you are sitting there for hours editing it, putting it up, and you're looking for some kind of a show of success through your editing.
That is very true.
Right? You're looking for somebody other than me to like the video in a way, saying, hey, good editing, good video. You piece this together well, is entertaining, whatever. Because like, your goal, whereas my goal coming in is to have a good time, right? You're not having a good time when you're editing. Like, you might enjoy it, right? But like, you're doing that for somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? I'm here talking to you for me.
Yeah. Like right now, 100%. Like right now, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Like, I mean,
but then you're gonna have to sit down. I know podcasts aren't as much, but you're gonna have to sit down and edit it.
Yeah.
Right. So once you start editing,
and I'm already OCD.
You're no longer editing it for yourself. You're editing it for somebody else.
Yeah. No, that's you nailed it. I mean, it's definitely very stressful. Especially like with my busy schedule already with work, and obviously I'm a gym junkie, so every day and I have to go. Stress relieving and just feel better, but. Yeah, no, you nailed it. I have to, it's not even that I'm trying to justify it for anyone else. I just want to make sure it's the best product I can to give someone. No, I don't care if we're ever going to make money or anything off YouTube, but I just want to at least try and replicate what my fellow YouTubers out there, literally my role models, do. And it's definitely challenging, but.
Especially, I feel like it's like not a drug, but like you know, say when we first started YouTube, like whatever, or even more recently, we're doing this and we're both watch YouTube or whatever, and you're looking at that and you're going, man, that's an awesome video, right? And then one day we do something and we're like, oh, like we could do that, and it's like something really simple, and then we kind of like emulate it or put it into our own style some way. But then you're like, okay, we did that. We did what they did, right? And then, like, now that you're editing and all that, you start picking up on, like, the little things, and you're like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You keep reaching for, like, oh, I can do that too. Oh, I can do that too. Like, it's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
It takes effort, but, like, it's not impossible. Like, we could do that.
Oh, yeah. And I think the awesome thing is just seeing the growth through the videos. And I think that's what helps me a little bit. Like, maybe if a video doesn't do so well, like from the get-go, or this one I at least wanted 100 likes from, or excuse me, 100 views from this one, but only got like 70.
100 likes would be nice.
I know, right? And that flashlight terrified me at first outside, but yeah, no, it's cool to be able to implicate stuff that I learned from other people, or maybe tips or tricks that I saw online, or maybe something new with the new hottest technology. But yeah, no, it's all a learning process. But in the end of the day, anyone can do it. And I encourage you to do it, whether it's a podcast or a channel or whatever the case may be.
For sure. And, like, we've talked about how... Well, okay. What would you say throughout podcasting for a year? What did you guys get?
McDonald's.
Oh, my
Is that what's in that package?
No. In the package?
Or the box.
Just buy a box
What's
of
in
fries
the box?
Yeah. What's in the box?
What? Sorry, our podcast was intruded upon by Cody's roommate and brother.
AKA brother. Nerd.
And he didn't even bring us McDonald's.
Dun dun dun.
You didn't have?
Well, technically, Shane opened the door and intruded. Actually, yeah. Shout out to Lauren. She got us like 40 subscribers back in like February. That's why she was the first person to ever earn the shirt.
Whoop.
Yeah, she was the first person to earn a shirt.
Was it?
Yep. And the only person.
Over the course of doing 24 podcasts, now 25.
Yes.
So, okay, this is great, kind of looking back and thinking upon the growth from podcasting specifically, right? What do you think you, or us, but you, have developed over the course of the past year with podcasting specifically? Now, before you answer, I'm going to answer for you.
Okay.
Okay, because I think it's a different route than what you might say.
Okay.
Okay? I think you specifically have gotten really good at scheduling people for podcasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, I would
in terms
say...
of getting a good host, or just in general?
Well, like, I would say my answer would be, like, developing speech and, like, learning how to more or less kind of interview someone while still having a conversation, right? Like, you want to ask questions that would be interesting for a podcast for somebody to listen to, right? Which usually align with what you're interested in, right? But that would be my answer. But, like, you're the one who actually schedules it. Like, you have to think, you got David Hall. You know what I mean? Like, you're the one who, like, DMs somebody, right? Like, that's a skill.
Yeah.
Right? Where, like, you've gotten better. You've figured out, okay, this is how I asked them. This is, you know what I mean? Like, that's an angle I don't know if you were going to think about.
It wasn't. I definitely
which is a unique angle that I don't have.
that's fair. No, I will say that is pretty scheduled because in the end of the day, I try to schedule not really of just my time, but convenience, but for the guest and DJ because I relatively narrowed down and know DJ's schedule. It's
Pretty much.
He's pretty much off between 2 to 3:30 at the latest, sometimes 4, but he's usually home from the gym by then, and he's hanging out with Bree or Luke in town or video games or watch movie, whatever. So usually he's open, and then the weekends it's like every other one you're busy, so it's pretty easy. Now for the guests, they're kind of the main person. If you really want to live with them in, or if you want to use their time, then make sure you schedule it around their specific. Now, obviously, when I'm going with the guest, I mainly go with their time in mind and mine because I'm usually thinking about my schedule. But also, this I have to think about yours as well. So it has been difficult, but it's gotten easier. I think, having successful days where we had multiple guests in a day, or
It's
David
been a
Hall.
while since then.
Yes, I missed that. Or having David Hall on.
This is our first time doing a podcast in person in
since
months.
Yes,
Since March.
it was like
Since
right before
Will.
St. Patty's Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is insane, and I missed it. I don't like virtual podcasting. This sounds bad, and it's easier to schedule and easier to do.
I would much
but-
rather do every virtual podcast we've done. I would much rather do them in person.
Oh yeah, you can feed off energy better. No one to worry about lag or sound checks or mic issues or a lot of technical difficulties during because I don't have professional equipment. But nevertheless, it's still been fun. But in person,
Rather do in
podcasting is
person.
better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely wasn't going to take that approach.
But what
But
would
I
you
think it's
what
a-
would you say?
I would say I've become a better listener because I'm always quick to speak or I want to be able to say what I have to say first before I forget. But I think I've also learned that from listening to podcasting, which I know you had way more experience of listening to podcasts and kind of got me more into it, which was definitely helpful because clearly I think it's kind of silly to start a podcast and not know what goes into it, or let alone listen to at least one to have an idea.
Here's the funny thing. Speaking about listening and not interrupting, here's
Right.
the one of the interesting things about listening to a podcast is that, and this is like specifically podcasts that involve like dialogue, like not like a story podcast, like because there's a huge array of different genres of podcasts.
Yeah.
But for the podcast that I know we both listen to, it's very relaxing and calming to listen to a podcast because you're listening, right? There's zero expectation of you having a response. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you have a good host, the questions that you have pop up are asked
Yeah.
for the most part, So it's very much it's a very one-sided thing on your end. You're just listening, right? And that's why podcasts are so popular because there's zero energy taken up for listening to podcasts, but you're more or less involved in a conversation. It's just one-sided,
Yeah.
right? But when you're doing a podcast in person, the hard part is still having that listening while also developing your thoughts and your questions.
It's a very good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're listening to a podcast, you're just listening. Your brain almost turns off, and you're just letting the podcast do the thinking for you. You know what I mean?
True.
But when you're actually doing a podcast, you have to listen the exact same way you would if you were just listening to a regular podcast, while also thinking of a question or thinking of what you think, or having that. It's a conversation. It is, right?
Yeah.
It's just a normal conversation, but there's just a little bit more to it.
100% agree. And even I would say for me is you don't have a tech guy, so I have to worry about that too.
Yeah.
Whether it's virtual
Our tech guy
or
keeps going back to college.
right. Shame on you, Luke. Getting that education, idiot.
Idiot.
Just kidding, miss you, bud. But yeah, no, I think that's what's crazy with podcasts is turning off the mind was definitely spot on because I listen to it every morning, usually on my drive in because it's soothing, it's relaxing, and I'm usually tired. I'm not the best morning person, and whether I'm sipping coffee or eating my breakfast on the way in, it's definitely good to sit there and just soak in whatever the information may be, whether it's more of a comical episode or a serious science episode or whatever the case may be. you just shut off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, controlling it, totally different story, but still nonetheless fun.
I think doing a podcast is more enjoyable than listening to one.
Yes.
Because those questions that you have come up, you do get to ask. It just takes more effort to think of the questions and like have them in like a actual logical structure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That is very true. That is very true. With 1 year down and another year moving forward, so by September 14th, 2021, what would you like to see C Logic at in its place, DJ?
You know, COVID depending, I would like to get back to doing in-person podcasts. They're just much more enjoyable. I feel better doing them. Like, they're more enjoyable just playing out. Let's see. If we could do another 20, I think 25 is like a solid number of podcasts. It's like pretty much one every other week. Like I think that's a great number to keep striving for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think we have to push for more podcasts. I also don't want to do less, right? So
Yeah.
24 is perfect. Definitely want to keep pushing out to like new people coming on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I really want to get into a realm where we have like nothing against, because I know like a majority of people that we've had come on have been like your friends or, you know, buddies that you've known or buddies of buddies that you know, whatever. I would love to get into a realm where we have people on that neither one of us know at all. You know what I mean?
No, I 100% agree. I think that because not only you almost have to research them before they come on. Or at least kind of have a gist of what they do for a living or whatever the case may be.
I think that'd be fun.
I agree.
Exciting for both of us.
Which, maybe a little sneak peek, but Chris's buddy Brian, who played Q, which you'll see in Tethered, the movie, he has a podcast as well. I think it's called The Interesting Podcast, but Chris wants to set us up.
Do you know what it's about?
I don't, other than it's interesting, apparently.
Oh,
So,
good title.
Right? So I think he...
By that logic,
ours
is logical.
Like I use both names there. That's good. But I think Chris wants to see us do a collab, or we go on his.
Where's he at?
Ours.
Is he in Florida?
I think he lives down there. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe, but maybe we can set it up for when we're down there next
Oh,
weekend.
that'd be fun.
That would be.
That'd be fun.
Or this weekend from when this episode drops. Oh yeah, we're going to Florida. Anyways.
We're in Florida.
No, we're not.
No, we would be back by then.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No, we would not have gone yet.
When's this dropping?
Monday.
Oh.
I mean tonight. Ha ha.
Right now, when you're listening to it, just drop. We just did this. We're doing it right now.
That's another
This
hilarious.
is live.
Since we're on that, right? Since we're on that, I don't think we've ever recorded an episode and dropped it on that day. That's not happened, and it's not because
Have we
it's
not?
impossible.
I feel like when we did like one of the three podcasts a day ones, we did.
Maybe we did. Maybe at least one.
But go on.
Yeah, reason being just I don't have all this state-of-the-art equipment, and a lot of it is, you have to wait for the video to render, and usually I'll like match up any sort of synchronization with video to audio, or I have something else to do that day. And especially if it's a weekday, then kiss that goodbye. So it's never happened, but just pretend this is the 14th. This is maybe or may not be a day before. Yeah, it's live. So it's live and drops right after. Which I don't really know many podcasts that do that, to be honest with you. Like, I know Joe Rogan doesn't.
Yeah.
So I don't feel it's so bad.
Now, flipping the question around, I know you're the inspirational one here. Where do you see this podcast being a year from now? Now, whatever you're thinking, bring it down a few notches and then go with that.
I know you always do that, but instead of 25 episodes, I want to see 50. Now,
Okay.
that's one per week, and I think we can do it, which we're starting off the right foot now, 1 for 1 this week.
Whoop, whoop.
So, yeah, that might mean we do 2 or 3 in a week, but I know at the same time we have a lot in store.
Dude, let's just do 50 in one weekend.
Oh, God.
Just knock it all out.
I don't have time. What are they, like 5-minute episodes?
No, each one an hour.
No.
You don't need sleep.
It's 48 hours on a weekend. It's on Friday night, I guess.
We're doing a 3-day weekend, Cody, okay?
All right.
I've thought this through.
Oh my God, no thanks. But I would like to see 50 episodes, and I definitely can second the unique guests. Not that none of them thus far, let alone.
Everyone's been great, and I want
Yes.
everybody to come back on.
I do.
I want people to
It
come
was great to
back
have
on
Chris
the
and Corbin back
podcast.
on. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a 4-person podcast with 2 returning guests. That was awesome. And I
I
just
would
want
love to
continue
have
that.
people
Schaefer,
come back on. Would be amazing.
Manseca, David Hall,
The Schweitzers.
the Schweitzers, everybody. Definitely want to have them back on. But we definitely need to continue to get some more guests. I want to
And
get
if we're gonna do 50 podcasts, we're gonna need more guests.
Yes, that's true.
We can only have them on so many times.
That's if 50 people want to be on the coolest podcast ever. So, but I mean, maybe that's a little of an unrealistic goal, just because I know we're gonna have to travel back into things and might hit some busy slumps. But I think we can definitely do it. I know we wanted to get to roughly one a week, which that makes us on this 2 weeks shy of one a week for a whole year. So I think we can probably do it. I think we can definitely get another 25, if not maybe add 10 to that. I would say another comfortable
For
35.
next year?
Yeah, I would say like
I would say we
35.
can do that.
It's going to be a more, I guess,
'Cause, I mean, we hit-
logical number we can hit.
Well, like think about it like this: we did 25 this past year, and we went through a 3-month period where we couldn't do anything.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
That's
Imagine
before we
if we
realized
were
we could do
doing
virtual.
a couple podcasts during that period.
That is
you
true.
know?
And granted, we had some like travel stuff and like an interview with Ted Cap down there in Myrtle. We had all that stuff on the backlog, and I think one podcast that we'd already done, and we did like all within a week's time.
Yeah.
So it literally lasted us till we did the next podcast. But if it wasn't for that, we didn't have any like new content. And then that's all we could do for like a month and a half was we did like I think we dropped like 5 or 6 podcasts in a row with like Copeland and Chris and Randall and Thompson and a lot of those guys. All the virtual episodes. So yeah, no, I think we can definitely do it, despite whatever may happen with COVID. I mean, unless it just like ramps up 3 times the amount, but hope, prayers,
It's
does
all
not,
going to disappear
so,
in November, anyways.
probably. Maybe that's been the joke, but everyone almost like believes it now too.
I think it's true.
That's what's crazy. Yeah. So, in other news, 1 year down, many to go. Hopefully, it gets better. Get more equipment. Get more guests. Plenty more to see.
If you would like to be on, if you're listening right now, you have a good chance of being on CD Logic Podcast.
Because if you can last 47 minutes through the 25th episode of Late Night Chatter Round 3, then she clearly shows that you're a dedicated listener. Or you listen to it in like 5 parts because we're boring and only can take 5 minutes at a time. But nonetheless, definitely hit us up. We'd love to have you.
Or if you know somebody that would like to be on it.
That's true.
Or on a podcast in general.
Or it would be an interesting individual to interview, let alone talk to. Maybe they got a funny talent or an awesome job. Or something that you just want everyone to know their story.
Yeah. Are there... You know who Bree really wants us to have on?
Who?
A trucker.
That
Like
would be
somebody
pretty cool.
who does like cross-country truck driving.
That'd be really cool.
She was like, they have to have stories.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe
Like-
that's something that we could incorporate for this year. Think about it. Our name's
Like a
City
goal?
Logic. We made it. Well, hear me out. We made the name as broad and easy as we could. I mean, we thought of all these extravagant names, and we ended up just sticking with CD Logic. Cody, David, Logic. That's basically what it stands for. And with that being said, what if we?
There's
I know
a couple
we've
people who are listening who are like,
right.
mind blown.
I hope one of those. people.
I thought this was a podcast about music, and they were just really shitty at it.
I hope Bree isn't one of those ones that's thinking about season. No, I'm just kidding. But actually, maybe that's something we can incorporate into it. I know we've done all sorts of things with like movie reviews, and we're going to do more, as well as
For
like
sure.
different
Tenet.
guests with exactly.
I
But
have to go see that soon.
so for the logic part, what if we interviewed multiple people in different professions and got their logic on their profession in today's world, or their experiences through their time working that job, whether it's a trucker. I think it's a great idea, honestly.
It's
weird as
an
it may
interesting
be.
person.
But I think that's something that we're also wanting to do and have done is we're giving, I guess, what society would label a nobody a chance to be like a somebody on our show. Kind of a chance to escape reality, whether
Or just
it's
like
virtual
normal,
or...
like normal jobs. You know what I mean? Like truck driving's a normal job, right? But like I'm super interested in it.
I'm too.
You know? Well,
I'm too.
I don't know. Can it be a normal job if there's like TV shows about it on like I don't
Ice
know.
Road Truckers.
Yeah, Discovery Channel or
But
History
that's not
Channel, whatever.
normal, though.
Ice Road isn't, but like You know, like if someone worked at like a storage unit, they have a TV show about that.
I don't want to interview someone that works at like mini storage mart down the street or something like that. No, I don't want to interview Karen from 7-Eleven in your community.
So you want to interview nobodies who are somebodies, but they're nobodies as long as they're not the right somebody that you want.
Please don't ever say that again. Well, looks like we need someone's long-distance relative, or maybe your dad that's a trucker out there. Or mom, I guess, that's a trucker, because I want to interview them
Especially
now.
if you have a mom that's a trucker.
That would be really cool.
Sounds
I
awesome.
feel like it's a male-dominant field.
I would imagine so.
All right, off the top of your head, what are some other professions that would be intriguing that aren't like something extravagant like astronaut or engineer?
Deep sea welder.
Deep sea welder. That sounds terrifying.
I would imagine there's a very few select number of those people.
And if we can get one, then we have at least like.
I don't even know if that's a real job. I assume
million.
it is.
Probably. Well, you know, like an oil.
Yeah, that's what I was
oil
thinking.
rig. Oh, okay.
But like,
where do you get welder from?
Well, no, someone who welds deep sea. Like,
Oh.
imagine that job, like having to go. Well, I guess they have like machines that probably do that. But
Yeah, this isn't 19.
if we had a tech
50
guy, we
anymore,
would know,
dude.
man.
I know, right? Darn you, Luke. So no, I think that's a really good idea. Actually, I'm glad Bree passed that on to you. Whether it's a trucker or someone else, that is really cool.
Somebody.
Someone that just be willing to do it.
We also need to reach out to some of our travel friends.
Yes,
People that we've met
Kennedy Carey.
traveling
Remember the one, the
and
Schweitzers?
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
I still follow him on
No,
Instagram.
like him, but also people that we've met in our travels. You know what I mean?
True. Olivia,
Like, reach out
we're
to
so
them.
sorry.
Yeah, reach out.
I know
see
she'll
if
always
anybody-
listen. She's been a dedicated follower and tunes in every time. Usually, it seems, and I feel bad she hasn't been on thus far, but COVID made that harder, and she lives all in the northern part of the East Coast, so maybe one of these days we can get you on. I mean, and at the same time, some of those episodes I wish we could have done in person, like with Thompson. He's a travel buddy,
for
technically.
sure.
So I know Olivia would feel
Well,
the
they
same
would all
way
be
about
better
Olivia.
in person.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But one day for sure.
We can
But-
pay for your room and board, which will consist of a couch
With a board underneath of it.
with a board underneath of it.
I'm kidding.
Also, you have to pay for your own food.
Give you water. The den is nice. Got a nice fan, heating, electricity, bathroom. So, we're late night chat around 3.
How long were the last two?
Probably roughly like I think they're both 45 minutes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, here's another thing. Looking back on like growth and all that, is think back to when we did the pilot episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much easier was like this past 52 minutes, hour. Also, I didn't know that it told you the time right there. I've always like looked up here from like a distance trying to see.
It's not true because it moves all
That's
the time.
fancy. Like the software that we used to record has like the time of like what time we're at in the podcast right now.
15 seconds ticking.
That's crazy. Late night chatter. The first one was 47 minutes, and late night chatter round 2 was 40 minutes.
So this one is at like
Record breaker.
50s, right? Well, it's a monumental episode, 25th, so we're a quarter of way to 100 and 1 year anniversary. So, but in concluding thoughts, DJ, what have you got for everyone out there, or for your just self, that you want to lay on us into this next year of CD Logic? If you can't think of one, I got one for you.
Okay, go for it.
Start bringing me more guests.
Me?
Yeah.
Deal. I got a few people in mind.
Whether it's a family member, a friend, a travel friend you can think of that you'd even want to call. Like I still have Jeff, Trevor's dad.
Yeah?
I still have
that'd be
Jeff's number
awesome.
in my phone. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
You know what'd be really cool? Tony.
Tony Wood. I don't know if I have his number though.
Or just find out do you remember the name of the restaurant that we went to? We
Not
could
a
find
clue.
it. We could find it. I remember
Probably
the
somewhere.
location of it.
Yeah.
I remember the location. We can find it and then just look it up.
Probably
and
still
find his
there,
number.
and didn't get like Canadian COVID or nothing like that.
Oh man.
Let me not talk about that. Stay safe out there, Tony. No, all right. So realistically, yeah, what do you think for yourself?
Like goals? What do you
Or
mean?
just what you want to see, what do you want to bring, what do you want to do?
I just want to, keep on doing podcasting. It's fun.
All right, thanks, DJ.
You're
Lame
welcome.
Answer.
You're
You're just
welcome.
wasting hot air. No, I'm kidding. No, all in all, I'm glad we decided to do this. I remember a little over a year ago when we had the idea, we were like, nah, let's not do it. But sure enough, we followed through with it 25 episodes later, and we're continuously growing. We're over 200 subscribers at this point.
Whoop, whoop.
I think we were only at like 70. So
Yeah.
we've gotten like 130 plus from where we are in a year, which is, I would say, pretty decent for being small and not paying for ads and
It's
forcing
alright.
people with gunpoint to subscribe to us.
We can do better for sure.
But thankful to one of our guests in the room over there, Miss Lauren Flynn, brought us in like 30 to 40 subscribers in 24 hours. I don't know what kind of voodoo magic she was working over there at Starbucks, but I'm about to...
we didn't pay for the ads, but she did.
I'm about to request, right? I'm about to request some sort of spell again because I want us to get us to 250. But no, it's fun to grow at this pace. It's definitely tested my faith, but it's fun. It's all fun. It's all worth it. So, DJ, you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, we're at the 56-minute mark. That's if I don't cut anything out. As always,
We're gonna do maybe 4 minutes. Well, 3 minutes of the
3 minutes, maybe a little less. Depends on what I'm
hit us at a nice straight hour.
Yeah, something around that time. But enjoy this compilation of episodes 1 through 24. Some don't have footage, so they're going to be obviously missing them. I'll probably label it at the bottom.
We'll just do audio.
Yeah, at least audio for those. But at least enjoy it. If you want to see something that was like a follow-up to a previous episode with a guest, a topic, or want to see something like it, let us know. But enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.
Bye. 3-second timer. Careful, mate. Oh, wait, is it taking lots of pictures?
It's a video.
Ah, mate! Come on. I was talking during all this.
Even if only 5 people listen to it and 2 of them are us, well, 3 is Luke, so...
I'm trying to make Cody more realistic about this podcast.
Yeah, see, I have too high of expectations right now, but then again, I'm going to argue that's how you shoot for the stars. So
Late night podcast numero uno for us.
It is.
Cody, what time is it right now?
It is 12:45.
With all that being said, the real important topic that we want to talk about today is Bigfoot. Tristan Westfall here from Florida, arguing for the West Coast today.
So we went to high school at Richmond Christian. I graduated in 2013. He graduated in 2014. A couple months.
We're outdated in our technology.
Yes, but we make do with what we have, so we're still making it work.
Right now we're just talking. You don't have to sell it. Oh, that's good. We'll put that as like the beginning. We'll cut that and put that at the beginning.
Okay.
It's so interesting to see the die-hard
Yes.
Star Wars
Yes.
fans. It's a wide variety, like so many different types of people. It's not just like nerdy old gray dudes. It's like people our age.
Right.
And we have a couple guests. As you saw in episode 9, we have David Hall from Solid Studios YouTube channel.
Yep.
Awesome guy. Check that video out if you haven't already.
I have never been to New York. I actually been to New York City one time. And my friends told me like, hey, when you get here, I was going to a hotel in Brooklyn, and the next day I was going with them, and then staying with them there, like Airbnb.
So was that
Just
good?
in
Was
case.
it going or bad?
I have no idea.
Breaking in the new camera. Looks good.
All right, so you know Cody from work. You guys work.
So Will, we've been buddies a long time, but I still don't know exactly what part of North Carolina that you're from. So tell us.
So I'm near the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Jeremiah, welcome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me.
Jeremiah Settle, quick rundown, is one of Shane's very best of friends. He had first time doing it through House Party. House Party.
So I'm up in Middle Springs.
Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan of your podcast. I like it.
Hey. Jeffrey Master, the man, the myth, the legend himself with those bulgy shoulders. First time featuring Brianna Chesak, a.k.a. DJ's girlfriend, a.k.a. my future sister-in-law. Woo.
You don't have to sit on the floor. You're making this harder on yourself.
You are our 24th episode, and what a coincidence, but right before...